With Embiid injured, and the Sixers brought this guy in to be the man, and he closed the series out. Game 6, he scored 13 points, and in the finale, he scored 9 points. What is that? All right, let's get right into it. Everybody woke up, the basketball world woke up this morning to the news of James Harden. He's over in China. He's at a camp with a bunch of teenage kids over there in China that he does, I guess, in the summer. And he made some strong allegations against Sixers general manager Daryl Morey. Basically called him a liar. And he said the statement twice. Like, Daryl Morey is a liar. That's what he said. You don't have to look too deep to understand what's going on here. A few weeks ago, the 76ers opted in to James Harden's last year. For this year, he's paid something like $35 million or something like that, something close to that this year. But they opted in basically with the intentions of trading him. So that's what James Harden and his team, his agents, and everybody understood. It looked like the Sixers been trying to shop him, but nobody wants James Harden. And that's what I believe is the situation right now. At this point in his career, I believe that Harden thinks that he's a better player than what he actually is. James Harden has not been a really good player in the NBA since the 2019 season. And Father Time catches up with players. James Harden, I know the guy has a reputation off the court as a partier and all this other stuff. He does not have a reputation that Kobe Bryant had. He does not have a reputation that LeBron James has. He does not have a reputation that even a Kevin Durant have or a Michael Jordan have. When I'm saying that, I'm talking about committing yourself physically to your craft. When you look at a guy like LeBron James, the reason why LeBron James is able to play until 40 years old, the reason why Tom Brady is able to play until 40 years old, these guys put millions of dollars into their body. They're not out just partying every night. They're not out partying after losses. When they lose, they're back in the gym. They're back on the grind the next day. You can physically look at their bodies and tell that they put a lot of work into their craft and that they care. They want to win championships. They want to be great. That has not been always a situation with James Harden. I mean, you can physically look at him and you can tell that he's not putting $1 million into his body to play until the age of 40. The way James Harden basically looks is he looks like an old school player that's probably going to play until he's about 35, 36 years old. He's going to need to retire. When you look at his statistics, he had a 5-year run in Houston that was amazing. That, in my opinion, cemented him as top 10 shooting guard of all times. I don't have him in my top 5 shooting guards of all times. My top 5 shooting guards is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, and Clyde Drexler. I don't have James Harden better than those 5. So he's probably right on the outside at like number 6. I think it's almost neck and neck with him and Reggie Miller, But, all right, I won't even go there. But, what I'm saying is, with James Harden, he had a 5-year run in Houston where he was amazing. His 2017 year, his MVP was his MVP season. He won an MVP, 30 points, and that's the MVP is probably what's put him better than Reggie Miller. I'll give him that. So he's probably 6 all time for me. But that year he averaged 30 points per game. In 2018 he came back and he averaged, he had a couple more seasons where he averaged 36 points per game and 34 points a game. He won 3 scoring titles back to back. And since that time, he hasn't been that player anymore. He fell off for whatever reasons. You can blame it on injuries or that. He's just getting older. Father Time is catching up with him. Since being traded from the Houston Rockets, his statistics went from averaging 30 points per game. Now he's down to 24 points per game, and then 22 points a game, and then 21. And historically, he's never been a great player in the playoffs. he's actually been one of the biggest mysteries in the playoffs in NBA history. Here's a guy that looks like one of the greatest shooting guards of all time in the regular season, and then you put him in the playoffs, and he looks completely like trash. I'm talking about games like, last year at Boston against, with Embiid injured, and the Sixers brought this guy in to be the man, and he closed the series out. Game 6, he scored 13 points, and in the finale, he scored 9 points. What is that? I mean, you got to ask yourself, is he doing this on purpose? How can a player that's so great have moments in the playoffs where you only scored 9 points in a closeout game? You scored 13 points the game before. This is a problem that's going all the way back to 2012 with James Harden. We had a bad finals. He had a bad NBA finals versus the Heat. It says in 3 games he failed to score more than double digits in that series. In the 2015 Western Conference Finals, where the Warriors beat them in 5, Harden was underwhelming in that series. In 2016, his first round performance against the Warriors, again, he had bad performances where they lost again in 5. In 2017, where he was his MVP year, he was knocked out in the second round against the Spurs. He had some good games, but he had some bad ones. Again, including a Game 6 elimination game where he only scored 10 points. What is up with this guy? What is up with him? And so I'm giving you statistics in his play when he was in his prime, young James Harden. So if James Harden couldn't be what a team needed him to be in his prime, what makes you think that 33, 34-year-old, because his contract is going to take him to 34, 35, 36, what would make you think that he's going to give you anything better than what he's given? And it doesn't matter who he's teamed with. Because right now he's teamed with Joel Embiid, the MVP of the regular season, and he's still flopping. And he's still trying to run. And again, you know what they say, when a zebra shows you his stripes, believe him. When a cheetah shows you his spots, believe that's who he is. This is who James Harden is. He plays well in the regular season, and he stinks in the playoffs. And now, at this point in his career, at 33 years old, I think he might be a little off when it comes to considering his own value. I don't think he's reading the room well at all. I think in his mind, he still thinks that he's 2017 James Harden. That MVP season was 6 years ago. That was a long time ago, my guy. He's now on television demanding trades, saying that he's upset. Trust me, if the Sixers could have traded him by now, they would have traded him by now. But clearly they can. I think that if James Harden was smart, which he's not, he would have just played out his contract and gone into free agency next season. But he can't even do that because now he's in a bad situation with the Philadelphia 76ers. If James Harden, and he's basically in the same situation that Ben Simmons found himself in with the 76ers. The only difference is Ben Simmons did that with 4 years. Harden is doing this with 1 year. And so if Harden was to not report for Philadelphia 76ers for the season, and he missed his first 30 days, James Harden would lose his right to become a free agent next year. He basically doesn't have a leg to stand on. The Sixers basically own him. Why he was given that, why he was given that, I guess his agent had him opt in this year. That's what bothers me about a lot of these players. They're like, let me grab the money real quick. Ben Simmons did that, although he wasn't happy in Philly. Let me grab this money real quick to make sure I'm getting paid. And then if I don't like it, let me throw a fit and get traded or something in a couple years. I don't like that these new players are doing it. And James Harden clearly did that. He said, okay, let me grab this $35.6 million for this 2023-2024 season, and then basically let me demand a trade or let me act a fool. But guess what, James Harden? You are not the 2017 James Harden anymore. And guess what, James Harden? You haven't taken care of your body like LeBron has taken care of his body to make those type of demands at 33. Yeah, honestly, if you look at James Harden, you would think that he was a whole lot older than what he is. He came in the league at, 19 years old? But you would think that he is an older player. I mean, if you look at Kobe Bryant at 38, he looked younger than what Harden looks right now. If you look at LeBron James at 40 years old, whatever age he is, he looks more effective and younger than what Harden looks right now. So, Harden, I remember, when I was younger, I was always told, what you do to your body when you're younger, it will catch up to you when you're older. Meaning, if you do drugs if you're younger, if you drink a lot, whatever you do, it's going to catch up to you. I think Harden is feeling this lesson right now. You didn't take care of your body. Now your body's breaking down. Now the league don't take you seriously. Your performance is breaking down. You're only scoring and averaging 21 points a game now in the regular season, and you still stink in the playoffs. So to be over in China throwing a fit like that looks kind of whack in my opinion. And Harden has himself in a really terrible situation. Because now he done came out and he talking crazy about this general manager. The general manager can make him just sit there. And he can go about their season and forget all about this guy. So we're going to see how this ends. Thanks for checking in. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you hit like. Make sure y'all definitely subscribe to the page. And make sure, give me y'all feedback. Let me know what y'all think on the episode. Until next time.